right, all right. Positive energy all the time. Come on in, rep your city. I'm representing Chicago, Illinois. Everybody on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and Facebook. The beautiful and gorgeous Lady Lioness is here. XYZ is in the building representing Buffalo, New York. Rep your city. Rep your city. My DM's been going crazy. Brother, they trying to steal Juneteenth in Ghana. We got used to Texas. Well, I'm telling you. First thing in the morning, my DM's going crazy. Pharaoh, you seen this? They trying to steal Juneteenth in Ghana. Hey, big mad about that. Oh, man, we going to talk about it. We got San Jose. To brothers and sisters in Africa that's trying to encourage people to go to Africa, that's the wrong. That's not how you do it. Lady Lioness. That's what I'm saying. Look, she said, born in Galveston, Texas, home of Juneteenth. It has nothing to do with Ghana and everything to do with Texas emancipation of slaves. It's an insult to all the brothers and sisters in Texas, which I've been trying to get to Texas to a Juneteenth celebration for a minute. I might actually pull the trigger this time. Last time I couldn't find out which event I wanted to go to. I couldn't do the proper research. Oh, and I was trying to get a booth, and it was sending me through too much. I was trying to push Pay Black Americans. I was trying to get a booth, and it got to be too much. So I just got to come, and without all of that, I just need to come and just come by myself, because it wasn't going to be economical beneficial. Because how much it costs you to travel nowadays, and then transport your stock and get your hotel room and stuff. You'll just be there spending $2,000 to make $2,000. But I need to just come and hang out. I think I'm gonna come this year. I'm glad you said something, Lady Linus, because those kind of things pop up on me at the last minute, and I go, oh, and then I don't be ready to go. So I'm glad you put that in my head. The best one is held in Wharton, Texas. Make sure you go to my DMs and send me a flyer or something from it. That way I could download it. The best one. Ah, see, I got an inside scoop. Yeah, I got to check that out. I definitely got to check that out. And I got to get to Texas. Texas is the one state, and a bunch of cities in Texas is the ones I'm most pissed I haven't really been to and hung out. If they said, Pearl, what would be the main place you would go? The main place I have to go, first and foremost, is Texas. Texas, and then Mississippi. I haven't been really in Mississippi. I've been through Mississippi, a little tip of it, but I haven't been in Mississippi. So Texas first, then Mississippi. Then I got to do the North and South Carolina and up there, Washington, D.C., and that area. Because I've been to Florida I've been to a lot of places, but Texas is the number one on my list. I got to go to Dallas, Houston, Austin, and a lot of the smaller cities. It's just I guess San Antonio. How you don't go to Texas? If you haven't been to Texas, you haven't been to the United. You don't know nothing about the United States. So I gotta go to Texas. That's like at the top of my list. All right, just keep me informed. Yeah, I know about the Juneteenth in Texas. I've been knowing about that since I was young, in my teens. I knew about that. That's Chicago's a really black city, so things like Juneteenth are highly cherished. We learn about that because black Chicagoans, we from down south, and we got some pretty serious roots here from Texas. But the thing was, a lot of with the black migration, a lot of them went to California. We mostly got Mississippi and Alabama came here. People from Texas, they mostly went west, but they did come here because my best friend Daddy, he from Texas, but they was just overpowered by all the people from Mississippi and Alabama. You know? But yeah, it's a lot of brothers and sisters here from Texas. But Texas blacks from Texas pretty much built California, San Francisco, Los Angeles. They pretty much built that. A lot of people don't know that. Lady. A lot of people don't know that blacks from Texas built L.A., San Diego, San Francisco. Black Texans made that what that is. That's a fact. Damn near everybody in California relatives is from Texas. It's crazy too because Texas is a huge state with a lot of cities, and so is California. You see that connection? And Louisiana, and Louisiana, but a whole lot from Texas. But yeah, and Louisiana. But it's crazy because a lot of people from Louisiana stayed in Louisiana. Y'all ever notice that? A lot of people in Louisiana never left. Y'all notice that? They're not known for leaving. Alabama's known for leaving. Mississippi's known for leaving. Texas known for leaving. Louisiana's not really known for leaving. Y'all notice that? Y'all notice that? They don't have a reputation for leaving. I never thought about that. That's interesting. Neither do Florida. Florida doesn't have a big, but then I think they went to New York. But they're not really Black Floridians are not known for leaving. The most famous blacks known for leaving is definitely Texas, Alabama, and Mississippi. They got the hell out of there. Oh, they moved to Texas. I get it. Because when you study the Great Migration, that's the main people you're going to hear about Mississippi, Alabama, and Texas. They got Texas go straight to the West Coast. That's what they really famous for with the black migration is California. California is basically Texas. I don't know if people know that. Hey, Lady Linus, I don't know if people know, but California is Texas. Most blacks in Texas have Louisiana roots. Interesting. I could see the marriages and stuff. I could see that. I could see that. I got to go to Louisiana. I don't know why I left that out. I got to go to Louisiana too. I got to go. I got to go to Louisiana. I know some vegans told me I got to go to Louisiana and get the food. They told me that the people in Louisiana are the number one people in the country when it comes to spices. That's what a lot of vegans have told me. They said I go to Louisiana, you're gonna know what spicy means. That they run spicy. I was young. I was about maybe 19, and I met I think two or three women from Texas, and they were just simply gorgeous. And I wanted to go to. That's a shame, but just because of those women, I wanted to go to Texas so bad. I thought they was the most beautiful thing I ever seen in my life. I think because they were tall. Oh, they was something. I had an obsession with Texas. Once I met them, I said, "Damn, I need to move to Texas." Jesus Christ! Oh my God, they look like models. Is there a lot of tall women in Texas? Oh, they was knockouts. I'm talking about. Oh wow, Chicago got a lot of women. So for them to stand out like that, you can only imagine how fine they was. They look like models. I said, "Yeah, everything is big in Texas." Oh, they was look how long ago that was. I still remember. Yeah, that's what I believe. I believe that, Cassandra. Yeah, from what I see, I was like, oh my God. So, so they start hitting me up. Bro, they trying to steal Juneteenth. They're trying to steal Juneteenth in Ghana. Uh, it's early for me. They woke me up at 7 this morning with that. They trying to steal Juneteenth in Ghana. So when they said Juneteenth in Ghana, that sounded horrible. If if the point if the point is to encourage foundational Black Americans to move to Africa by having Juneteenth, that's going to have the opposite effect. That's not going to make Black Americans like Ghana. Yeah, there's pandering, grifting. It's like a grift. It's like a grift. Nobody's going to respect that. Okay. Nobody's going to respect that. Exactly. Another con. Another con. Come on. You ever seen somebody do something and it's so crazy and you don't like what they do and you still feel sorry for them? Like, what the hell is y'all doing? Whatever y'all trying to do, y'all messing it up. That's how I feel about Ghana today. Whatever y'all trying to do, you're doing the opposite. You're not you're not making black Americans want to move there. You're making us absolutely not want to move there. Well, I got to go to South by Southwest. Ain't South by Southwest in San Antonio? I got to go to South by Southwest. I got to go to South by Southwest. Where is that held at? If I go down there, I'm going to all the cities, whether they're any good or not. You don't want to go. Oh, Austin. Yeah, that's in Austin. I got to go to Austin. But I gotta go. John. If I go down there, whether it's great or not, I don't want to go down there and don't see San Antonio. That won't make any sense. From a tourist point of view, you want to see it regardless. You don't want to drive all the way to the state and don't see the major cities. You want to make a trip out of it. Plus, me, I like anywhere. I'm gonna love San Antonio because I'll be kicked up at the hotel, drinking me some lemonade, looking at the. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I live in a major city, Chicago, so you can't be snobby. So, I don't go around looking for everything to be great. Oh, it's not like Chicago. I enjoy something smaller, something quieter. It's a vacation. So I pretty much enjoy anywhere I go. Anywhere I go, I kind of enjoy it. Especially, you know, and I'm gonna get back to what you're saying. For me, I've been a vegan now 48 years. So trips to me are vegan excursions. So when I go there, I'm gonna be looking for the vegan restaurant. you know, when I go to San Antonio, wherever I go, the number one goal is go see what's popping with the vegan food. That's just what I do. And get the vegetables and the fruit that I can't get. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the big watermelons with seeds, you know. Ah, make my whole trip. But yeah, I get up and they say Ghana trying to have want to have Juneteenth in Ghana, and I'm like, what the hell does Juneteenth have to do with Ghana? Like, okay, y'all are doing too much, and it's like I looked into it, and it's like some black people from America running a scam along with the Ghanaian government. That's what I'm saying. It's like some people that did move to Ghana and they trying to figure out a way how to make some money. So they going and they planning, they trying to figure out a way to get us to come over there for one, to make some money, for two, because it ain't nothing popping over there. And they feel like, misery likes company. And they feel like, well, if we get more of us over here, we can make it better, right? That's how it comes off. It comes off like they want us to come fix it. That's that's how it comes off to me. It's come off like, well, maybe if you guys come, you can help fix it. That's how it comes off from the other expats that moved there. They look thirsty and desperate for more people to come over there to try to help make their situation better. Their situation is not any good. And it's like they over there trying to make their situation better, and they're grifting. They got over there and ran it because, one thing I know for sure, the first ones to go over there that start wanting us to come was the grifters. That's one thing about when you start getting into festivals and stuff, those are full of grifters. When you start getting into travel and stuff like that, them be the snakes. They looking for any way to make $1. They try to make $1.50. So they get over there and they come up with these bright ideas to try to take our money. You feel me? And a lot of them people over there, a lot of them brothers and sisters and black Americans over there that be throwing them events, what they do, they hop from country to country and grift and rob people. Sell them property they don't own. Dude sell you some land in Ghana. You go move on the land. A year later, somebody come and say, "This is my land." Well, he then went down to the land place and got a fake deed. You looking for dude. He in Senegal now, you know. And he got his people keeping an eye on you. And as soon as they find out you left, he'll pop back up. Or you in North Ghana, he in South Ghana, he in another, you know what I'm saying? He might still be in Ghana, but he ain't where you at. And he's an expert at scamming and bouncing around Ghana where you can't find him. And breaking bread with the Africans from the scam. So when you go to the place to buy the land, he done already promised the lady or the dude that tell you that this is a good, decent deed. He done already broke bread with her. Same for your visa, your stay. It's people that went and paid to stay another 4 months and kind of find out it wasn't legitimate and they got to get out. They be scamming big time. The police over there, when they pull you over, they just pulling you over for you to pay them. They're not pulling you over for no traffic violation. It's a shakedown. Yeah, in Africa, yes. Especially in Ghana. They pull you over. When the police pull you over, it's a shakedown. They kind of looking at you like you were speeding. And then they never tell you what you're supposed to do. And they looking at you like, you better figure it out. You'll figure it out. So I know some people in Africa, and I know a brother that when he leave home, he take money for the police. He just pay them. Facts. When he leave out, he take money for the shakedown. I got boots on the ground over there. I just don't be giving up my resources. Yeah, they take money. You have to take money for the shakedown. They're gonna shake you down. Africa is super corrupt. Super corrupt. And so I looked up this Juneteenth, and when I seen the people that was involved with it, I knew. I shook my head. Look at them. Look at them scamming their own people. You know Juneteenth in Ghana is a scam. Just like this was a scam. This was never for you. This was never for us to come to Africa. This was tourist money. And once they made the tourist money and said, "Oh, that was good. Now let's have beyond the year of return." And they had the return of the return, and the return of the return of the return, and the safety deposit of the return, and the down payment of the return. Now that president's out of there. Now they got a new president, and now here go the new scams. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not coming to no Africa. I don't want to go to Africa at all. I wouldn't want to go to Egypt, buy me some jewelry. I like to go buy me some 18 karat gold, made straight in Egypt or something like that. I would like to go to Ethiopia, and they have this church, and every now and then they got these bees, and they got the rock church. The rock church is made in the ground. So they got that rock church in Ethiopia, right? and some bees moved in the church, and they make honey. And the Ethiopian high priest said the honey is holy because they saying that God made them move in there to make that particular honey. And when they go get that honey, people be lined up to get that honey. They say that honey got like healing powers. At Lobelia Church, I'm willing to go all the way over there just to get some of that honey. For real. Look it up. And to see that church. I want to see that church. I'm going to go to see that. I'm going to go to Kemet to buy some jewelry. I'm not going to like Kemet, but I'm going to go. But I know I'm not going to like that. I'm not going to like that. I'm going to be irritated. Because to me, it's just going to look like invaders. To me. Yeah, to me, it's just going to look like invaders. I ain't going to. I got to go over there and just keep my mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? But I want to go get some of this honey. You know what I'm saying? The bees went into this church. Now, this church was carved out of solid rock, right? Solid rock. And some bees went in there, and there's some honey in there. And people line up for that honey. I got to find out what time of year that happens. And get some of that honey. But back to the Ghanaians, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You went several times. Was the best vacation you ever had? Oh, that's good. I ain't trying to go over there that many times. I'm just trying to go once and get the honey and get the hell out of there. Um, and so when I see they had the Juneteenth in Ghana, I said, what's wrong with these people? I'm not much into Pan-Africanism like I was when I was younger when I found out that Pan-Africanism was some bullshit and that the brothers and sisters in Africa ain't Pan-Africans and it's a one way trip. It's all about loving them. Even the roster culture was a bunch of bullshit because the Jamaicans it wasn't no two it's not no two-way love. It's a one way to kind of suck up to them and it's not really African like that. It's a bunch of bullshit. And you'll find yourself when you get around a bunch of Caribbeans, you'll find yourself be the only one African. They'll still be Jamaicans and Trinidadians. They never Africans. They always Virgin Islanders, Trinidadians, and Jamaicans. And you're going to be giving up being a Black American to be an African. around some niggas that ain't giving up being Caribbean. That's a fact. It's big Pharaoh. This for the foundational Black American. You the only one gonna be Pan-African. Ain't nobody else gonna be Pan-African. You're gonna be the only one. You're gonna go to Africa and all they gonna see is a dollar bill. I don't give a damn if you're in Ethiopia or Smethsopia. Whenever you go around people that's living in a little bit poor and they find out you from the US, all they want you to do is spend some damn money. You look like, to them, you're a walking United States dollar bill. That's all you are. And you're not their brother or their sister. You know, I talk about how I had a good relationship with some Ghanaians, but I was thinking about that before I went live, and the relationship was false because I was a Rasta. Because they all asked me, "You from Jamaica?" And I'm like, "No." But they say I was a Rasta. So, yeah, I thought about that. Yeah, the Ghanaian brother was really nice to me because I showed some signs of Pan-Africanism. But what if I was just a regular Black American, right? What if I was just a regular Black American? They wouldn't have gave me the time of day. They only gave me respect because I had dreadlocks. And it seemed like I was into the Pan-African culture. But as a regular foundational Black American, they wouldn't have gave me the time of day. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. And so the come to Ghana, when to come to Ghana or to come to Africa, anytime that's bigger than them coming to look out for you, it's bullshit. Because if you're the big homie, you the big homie because you're in Africa. Why you don't come check on us? Why you don't never bring nothing from us? Why we don't never get nothing from none of these people? You ever notice that? With all the blacks that come to the United States, what do they ever do for us? What do they bring? What do they ever bring us, like anything? Like anything, any type of, any little help from where they from. Any little help. What do they bring? Nothing. They come and take away, but they don't bring nothing. The whole thing is come to Ghana, come to Ghana. But my thing is, Africa, you the big homie, right? And you want me to come and spend money and help you. But you ain't going to come help me do nothing. You're going to come eat off my plate and take away. And have no relationship with me. Typically, African men and a lot of Caribbean men, all they do is sleep with our women and get them pregnant. Their main concern is our women. That's it. I know some Jamaicans that'll get with a Black American woman, but don't deal with no Black American man though. But his wife is one. And Africans, they stay on that. They stay on that type of time. So now it's Juneteenth. Now you want to steal our culture for tourism. So I went and looked at it, and I seen these people over there talking about Juneteenth, and I said, look at this shit here. How is Juneteenth in Africa make any sense at all? How you gonna celebrate the end of slavery in the continent that made you slaves, that sold you? Did I make that some sense? Ghana got slave castles everywhere. And for Ghana with this fake anti-slavery stuff, when you was the main ones, And the same dog that'll bite you in the morning will bite you in the evening. There's no way I was going to trust no guy in government. And it's extremely disrespectful to talk about some Juneteenth. Then they had Black History Month too. And to be around these Pan-Africans. And have you ever really been around Pan-Africans? Because I came in as a Pan-African. Now, the rosters were better because they were Pan-African by default, but they wasn't pushing Pan-Africanism. Like the brothers that put on the little outfits and the little African clothes, them is the worst. The foundation, Black American Pan-Africans, them is some of the worst people you could ever be around in your life. They're like costume Africans. It's like a thing. Phony as hell. I didn't ever really get along with the Pan-Africans. It was like a nobody could become a Pan-African and find a little group, and now he could be somebody. You know, now his name Akbar something. But when you go look at his license, he never changed his name. They use these names, these African names. They never changed their name. Like my real name, I changed it. But these Pan-Africans, right? They never changed their names for real. And they always pandering. And it's like, why would you move with somebody that every time they come to your country, they don't do shit for you, they don't bring shit to the table? That go for Ghanaians, Nigerians, all the Africans. All the Africans that come to the United States, they don't bring us shit. They don't do shit for us. They ain't shit. They not. A decent person, when they come, ain't they going to try to bring you some type of prosperity or something when they come? Why is it always about you going spending money there and bringing something to them? And when they come to the United States, what do Foundation of Black Americans, what do any blacks in the diaspora ever do for us? Ever? Name one thing. Name one benefit that we get from Pan-Africans here in the United States. One. Name one. Name me one thing that Rastafarians from the Caribbean, one thing that they did for us to make life better for us. Name one. Name one thing. They talking all that black shit, right? Name one thing that was to our benefit from black immigrants in this country. One. Name me one thing. Can't nobody tell me nothing about Rasta. I'm big Rasta. And everything that I had to get that benefited me any type of way, it's all these years as a Rasta, was always from Foundation of Black Americans. It was never from a Jamaican, a Trinidadian, African, nothing. Never benefited. Only people ever benefited me was Black Americans. No other black person ever benefited me in any kind of way. That's why, a lot of brothers want to leave and move from America. That's why Big Pharaoh, where did I go? I went to an American island. I wasn't going to go down there with them Jamaicans and them Trinidadians down there because I know they was going to mistreat me. I already see how they act in a bunch. I wasn't going to be no Yankee boy down there around them playing with them like that. That's why I went to Hawaii. I said, I'm not going to their island. I want to go experience an island life. Let me go to a United States island. That's what I did. That's a fact. I did that as a shorty in my early 20s. I wanted to go and I wanted to deal with coconuts, and I wanted to check out coconuts, and I wanted to check out the island. And that wasn't no mistake. I went to Hawaii. I did that because of my experience around Black Caribbean brothers. I knew I'm not finna move with them. This shit they talking, they not that. They phony. That's a fact. So I went to Hawaii. Well, I didn't have to do, but I was an American citizen and I was in the United States. And you a foreigner. And watch how you act. That's a fact. That's why I did that. That's a fact. I was that smart to know that then. Because I had some Trinidadian brethren, and they wanted to go to Trinidadian. I had some brethren from the Virgin Islands. They were saying I could move down there, and I had some Jamaican bro. I knew I didn't want to move around the Jamaicans. Because I see how they act when they're in a group. And I seen that whole Pan-African shit is kind of, 1 minute you're a Pan-African and the next minute you're a yard man. Which one is you? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you's a yard man. You from yard. All that you are Ethiopian shit, you was lying. So I went to Hawaii where I was dominant. Well, I could let you know where you at. You ain't in the Caribbean, punk. You know what I'm saying? You in the USA, boy. And out there, it's military out there. So it's a whole bunch of Black American men in the military. So I ran with them. Yeah, whatever. Where you from? Word sounding part. Where you from? Where you born and where you from? Where you born? Where you born? Where you born? Where you born and grew up at? Give me some information. Then I can address what you said. Where were you born and raised? I think that's fair. Now, if you ain't going to tell me where you born and raised, then what you said is bullshit. Back it up. Where was you born and raised? So you're not going to answer the question. You see how he full of shit? He said he lived better somewhere else than Babylon, but he won't tell you where he lived in Babylon. So that's how you know he lying. Hiding behind that star and that, you know what I'm saying? That's how you know he lying. Because if he was standing there, he said, I was born here, right? He don't want to say. You understand? I'm just showing you with all them stars and all that lying, he's still a lying ass. He ain't even honest. He ain't even no stand-up brethren. See what I'm saying? You see, he got all that righteousness and stuff, and I asked him just a straight question. Respond to him like a brethren, and look how he playing me. No answer. And Babylon is a system. America's not Babylon. So he ain't no roster. He don't got no knowledge. The plane that take you to Africa, that's Babylon. When you go to the airport in Africa, that's Babylon. So he ain't no roster. He don't even got no roster knowledge. Because he don't know what Babylon is. He don't know, okay? He ain't no real roster like that. when he said, I live better than in Babylon, and he called America Babylon, he ain't no Rasta. He don't know Rasta. There ain't no real Rasta. It's a fake Rasta. Because he don't know what Babylon is. He fake. He bootleg. It's a little boy. It's somebody fake. Probably ain't got a dreadlock nowhere. He probably ain't got no locks or nothing. He ain't no real Rasta. If he was a proud Rasta, he'd have his picture up here, right? That's why he got that. First off, a Rasta not gonna put that messed up picture of the Lion of Judah. A real Rasta not gonna put no bootleg picture of the Lion of Judah up there. First off, I know Rasta cuss him for that because he got a cartoon fake image of the Lion of Judah. That's the first mistake. I'm gonna give y'all a game, right? So that picture he got, they'll fireborn that. They'll fireborn that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a bootleg picture of the Lion of Judah. He would have to put the real Lion of Judah off the real flag on his thing. He wouldn't be able to put that. You know what I'm saying? That's a violation right there. See, y'all, that's a violation. That's a violation. That's why y'all watch me, because this big Pharaoh. He tried to tell me about something he ain't even mastered. That's it. He ain't even standing on it like that. He not standing on Rastafari culture like that with no cartoon. That's bootleg. So you're not gonna listen to him. I'm just telling you. So he bootleg. He fake. And he never answered my question. And see, a brethren like that, he not no Ross. Because as a Ross, if he say da da da, and another Ross say, okay, where you from? As royalty, he's supposed to say, brethren, I'm from here, right? So I asked him, he said, right? He said, well, I totally disagree. I live better than I ever lived in Babylon. So I asked him, where you from and where you live at? He come back, for me, third-party information, right? And as somebody with royalty, look, he never answered. He never stood up like a Ross. He not a Ross answer. And that picture, this the picture. This was supposed to be there. Okay? That's what's supposed to be there. So he not standing on no real Rastafari culture. I'm big Rasta. Look, you see that picture? See the difference? See, he got some bootleg shit. He wouldn't take the time to really go and really represent His Majesty and really represent Ethiopia. He went and put a cartoon shit in here, talking about word sound is power and all this shit. Shut your bootleg ass up, man. It's big Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? Get your ass out of here, bootleg. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he might be a European or anything with some dreadlocks. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you know, I've been around all of, you know what I'm saying? I've been around the block. A real Ross, this the picture. This is picture. If he want to put the Lion of Judah, he gonna put the real Lion of Judah from the flag. That's a fact. This is for the people. I'm not trying to diss him. I'm trying to teach my audience. When you see a so-called real Ross and he got some bootleg shit, he don't respect His Majesty. His Majesty don't respect that there, you know. Fireborn that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, go step your game up. You know what I mean? So he's fake, right? Because he said he lived places better. He ain't lived places that's better than Babylon. He ain't lived no place better than Chicago. It ain't hardly no places in Chicago in Africa as good as Chicago. That's a fact. There's barely places in Europe as good as Chicago. Chicago is in the top every year. Chicago won the best city in America every year for the last 8 years. And he ain't lived better than me. So that's why I want to know where he was from. He knew what I was getting at. He knew I was getting at. Where'd you live at in Babylon? You ain't been living like Big Pharaoh been living. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. You know what I'm saying? You bootleg, bro. Shut your ass up. How is Babylon bad? And it's a billion Ethiopians in Washington D.C. Why they don't stay their ass in Ethiopia? Why all the Africans running to Babylon? Why all the rosters run to Babylon? All the rosters. You see what I'm saying? How people be lying? That's the first place they run is Babylon, according to him. You go to the reggae concerts. Not only you have reggae concerts here, the reggae concert is going to be in mostly white states with a mostly white audience. You ain't going to see no rosters in no black cities doing nothing. You don't see no rosters do nothing in the black community. The last rosters did that was rosters from the 70s. Ever since then, his kind of roster, they don't do nothing for the black community. He wanted to come over and he wanted to go back and forth with me. He didn't know I was gonna step on him. They be making that mistake sometimes and touch the fire and get burnt. You know they come over here, they want to play in the fire. You know what I'm saying? So for y'all want to know why I be acting like that, because they wouldn't want to come. They want to put their toe in the fire. They want to put their hand in the fire. You understand? Because I'm a foundational black American, because I'm a black American. A lot of these like cultural dudes, they don't really know who I really am. So this just show you they look down on you foundational black Americans because they see the way I talk. So then they come think they can play with me. But I'm standing on their culture bigger than them. This big roster over here. I'm 50 times more knowledge of roster and roster concepts than him. See what I'm saying? Y'all got to see. He would have never expected a black American to check him on that picture and to pull this up. See, underestimate his opposition. That's what you just witnessed. You witnessed the disrespect for us. He was going to come over and try to front some culture. It's so great compared to how we live it. When unless you filthy, filthy rich African in Africa, you ain't living good in no damn Ghana or no Nigeria, none of that. Africans don't live good in Africa. Africans are suffering in Africa. The continent of Africa is a place where the world goes steal natural resources. Facts. That's Africa. Don't y'all listen to these dudes telling you no nonsense about no Africa. He gonna let him tell it. Africa is better than Babylon. All right, right. Let him tell it. You know why? You know why he say? Because he don't want to talk about this Africa. He want to act like we don't know. Okay? But this big Pharaoh, where Africa you been to? Huh? What Africa you been to? You been to the Congo? I'm just saying. He trying to call buildings in America and all that stuff Babylon. But to the young people watching me, I'm gonna show you Babylon. Stevie Wonder blind. Shit. I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna get back to Stevie in a minute. I remember Stevie drunk at the Peter Tosh concert. And when Stevie was young, he had an addiction. I ain't gonna say which substance. Yeah, Stevie Wonder. This is the Congo. This is all the black people working in the Congo, digging up natural resources like slaves. And this is Babylon. Facts. This is Babylon. We're still supposed to say, Babylon makes the rules while my people suffer. My people are in a mess. Suffer. Okay? In the promised land. This is Babylon. This is the Babylon system. What Bob Marley say? The Babylon system is a vampire. Vampire sucking the blood of the sufferer. This is the Babylon system in Africa. This is the Babylon system. So he gonna tell you he lived better than he lived in Babylon in Africa. You know why? Because he living in Africa and he accepting domination from colonial powers. That's why. That's why he wouldn't tell me where he lived at. Why you think that man didn't ask some questions? He knew what I was gonna do. He knew what I was gonna do. I was gonna tell him exactly which European run that country where he lived at. He know that. He know wherever he lived, Europeans run it. Right, because the Babylon is a system, it's not a place. In the concept of Rasta, Babylon's not a place. He said he lived better than he lived in Babylon. YouTube is Babylon. What is he talking about? Is YouTube holy? Is YouTube Mount Zion? Or will YouTube be Mount Zion or Babylon? I'm confused. Some bootleg roster that don't know the culture and thing, try to talk to Big Pharaoh and thing. You know what I mean? A boy go hold your bomber clock quarter. Boy, go hold your car. I know nothing. Boy, I'll go hold your bomber clock corner. Know nothing. He don't know nothing. He not Rastafari culture like Big Pharaoh. Well, you're looking at the top of Rasta right here. Yeah, I know. I'm not supposed to be at the top because I'm from Chicago. Well, unfortunately, I am. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, for real. And if you go talk to some of the elders, the Burning Spears, the Ross Kojo, the Peter Tosh and them, they'll tell you, who Ramesses? Oh, no, Ramesses, a big one there. Yeah. Or you kind of like you, if you don't know, you're attacked too. Come on. they try to make Rasta not Jamaican. Rasta is a whole nother concept. A Ras, right? A Ras is a ruler, is a king. They don't tell you that. And so Ghana talk about a Juneteenth. I ever met Muda Baruka? Okay. The first time I met Muda Baruka was in LA. I had a brethren, my brethren. Hold on. That's funny. So the first time I met Muda Baruka, he was my brethren was from the Virgin Islands, and he lived with a Jamaican named Gladdy in South Central. And well, let me start from the beginning. The first day I got to LA, we stayed at a hotel. Then we ran into King OG. Everybody told us to go stay with King OG. So we went to stay with King OG. And the night we went to King OG house, they had just left Muda Baruka's concert. He was a brand new artist. Nobody knew Muda Baruka. He was brand new. And he had did a show at UCLA. And he did a song, "It's No Good to Stay in a White Modern Country Too Long." And all the white people walked out of Muda's concert. That's when I first got there. OG and them was telling me, "Man, we just seen this brother named Muda Baruka, and they walked out on this concert," right? So, uh, so maybe like 9 months or something like that after Muda Baruka was in LA. Staying with Gladdy and go to Farai. Right? My brethren go to Farai. This is Go. Rest in peace to Go. So my brethren go to Farai. He a roster from St. Croix. He the one in the middle. Right? So Muda Baruka was at Gold House, and Gold lived with a Jamaican, elder roster Jamaican, Gladdy, who was one of our elders. We used to go over there. He used to be, keeping us straight. And let me give my brethren some. Rest in peace to my brethren. I go to Farai, right? So Muda was over their house where they lived, at their gates, at a house in South Central. Gladdy and Go, and Muda was there. And some kind of way, Muda and Go got into it. And then Go started calling Muda Baruka nasty, because Muda Baruka used to not wear no shoes. And Go was like, "You in LA, you not in the hills." So Go was telling Muda Baruka, "You nasty. It's bombs, people urinating on the ground, people spitting on the ground, and you walk around with no shoes on." So Go's like, "You're nasty. Nasty, man. You walk around with no shoes on in LA. It's dirty. People spit out on the ground and all that, man. You have worms and all of that." So Muda Baruka locked himself in the bathroom for about an hour and a half. I was the first time I met Muda Baruka. The second time I met Muda Baruka in Hawaii, it was this white dude. I thought he was a CIA, and he was throwing these concerts. His name was Tom Mountain. He hated me. But everybody hate me when you ain't right. So the Black American revolutionary dude. So Tom Mountain hated me. So we was at somebody's house, like sitting out, and it's like mountain, it's like hills and stuff. So Muda Baruka is there, and me, and we sitting there, and the white dude, I think it was CIA or whatever, came. And Muda had a bag with some nuts in it, like I think some almonds or something. He had some pineapple, he had some dried pineapple in one bag, and he had a bag, I think, of mixed nuts. And so the white dude came and put his hand in Muda Baruka's bag of nuts and got some nuts out of there. And Muda Baruka said, "Now we it. Man, you just put your hand in me nuts like that." And Muda took the nuts and said, "No, me don't want these." Muda said, me not want these. I mean, not eat them. He might have put something in it and all that. Muda was going off. Muda was going off, and I'm looking at Muda like, "You want me to get him?" You know what I'm saying? I ain't promote no violence, but I was like, I don't like him anyway. That's the dude that banned me from the Rastafarian concert when I set up the Rastafarian concert. But I still can because I set up the Rastafarian concert with the Rastafarians, with the leader of the band. And I had my booth out there. I think it was in Maui. They had two shows, one on Oahu, one on Maui. I think I was in Maui. Got my booth set up, and the white dude that I introduced to the band and said to show up, he didn't like me because I was revolutionary dissing him. He told me I got to leave. And three members from the Rastafarians got around him. They was going to do him dirty and chased him away. Because back then I was Big Pharaoh, but I was little Big Pharaoh. I wasn't big Pharaoh, but they don't mess with little Big Pharaoh. I was coming up. I was a baby, but I was standing on business though. He tried to put me out, and the Rastafari was gonna whoop him. Yeah, shout out to Big Dread and all that. I gotta get everybody. Dang man, I gotta give everybody credit. But I'm going to tell a story. Get back to what we was talking about. So what happened is I met a brother from St. Louis. He was in Hawaii. He went to Hawaii. We tried to call him to get there. We couldn't find him. So I made arrangements to go first, find him, and then have my queen and my brethren that left Chicago with me come 7 days later. So I get there 7 days later. I go to the airport to meet my guy, and Haile Mascale, the one with the army coat on in the army, the leader of the Rastafarians, he was at the airport. So he said, "Robinson, why I do it in Hawaii?" I said, "I moved over here like, boom, but I know you had some ganja and all that." So I said, "Where your hotel?" He give me his hotel and all that. So when I get my family, I go to the North Shore in Hawaii. The CIA hateful white dude, he talking about throwing a reggae show. So I said, that's interesting because my brethren, Haile Mascale from the Rastafarians, is in town. Hook it up. First reggae show since Bob Marley, which was years because Bob Marley had already passed away. So I helped set up the first reggae show in Hawaii. Was the Rastafarians. And what was historical about that is back then in Hawaii, every time Hawaiians and Polynesians and Samoans would see us, they would call us Bob Marley. So every time they see me, they say, "Bob Marley, Bob Marley, Bob Marley." But once I helped put on the Rastafarians, all the Hawaiians started calling us Rastas. So that was a big change in the culture. that this group, the Rastafarians, introduced the Hawaiians to Rasta. They started calling us Rastafarians after they came. They did two islands. But the same white dude I set up with this, he wanted to ban me from the concert. I was a little rough. And I was a rough. I was a militant, so I was a little rough around it. I was rough around the cow. You know what I'm saying? I was like a different type of black. I was a Malcolm X roster. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they got nothing too many of them. You know what I'm saying? I came into the culture. I came in through Egypt. I ain't come in through Ethiopia. And then I come up under Malcolm X and I'm a Malcolm X Fred Hampton roster. I'm not a I wasn't an Irie roster. I wasn't Irie. You know, I was a Chicago nigger roster. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I was a little niggery. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't Irie and shit. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't Irie. I had dreadlocks way back there in the city of Chicago when nobody knew what dreadlocks was. You understand? I'm walking around in Chicago with dreadlocks and nobody know what it is. So I was kind of like, I was getting into squabbles on the bus. Because dude's like, look at dude, what's up with your head? What is that in your head? I was like, ask your mama. Oh, he jump up. Oh, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? I was rough. I was like, your mama like it, punk. Because I wasn't there yet. I was a gay. I was kind of like a hustler. I was kind of, I had Jerry curl, tailor-made suits. So when I went Rasta from shooting dice to gambling, so when I made my switch from Stu gambling at the park, stand on business, you know what I'm saying? And then I tried to go culture. It took me a long time. I worked hard. I worked hard to get cultural. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Irie. It wasn't Irie. I'm in Chicago. Wasn't not Irie. I'm on the bus with Blackstones and GDs and shit. What it's like to have dreadlocks and two GDs. Talking about, what's up? What's that in your head? And you're like, mind your business, punk. Where you from? I just came from your mother's house. Shut up talking to me. You know what I'm saying? I had to keep it gangster, dog. Keep it gangster. I couldn't be no, I couldn't be no, because I know y'all wonder what's wrong with him. Hey, that now you know what's wrong with me. That's how I came into culture. I'm the king of Chicago roster. I had to teach Chicago niggas roster. That wasn't easy. In 1978. That wasn't easy. You understand? So we went through that. That's a quick history. Y'all need to know that though. You know the history. I wasn't an Irie roster. I had Chinese throwing stars and stuff. I wasn't Irie. Bro, you didn't even answer no questions. Shut your ass up. Don't come over with your scary ass. This roster right here, you wouldn't say nothing to him. You understand? And you're not my daddy. Go raise your kids and get off my page. Yeah, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. I don't want to talk to you. You scary. You're a chump. You see me. What's your name? Word, sound, and power. You know you're not talking to that roster right there at all. None. You already know that. You know you are, I'm one love. I'm so Irie. Use the Irie roster. Why not Irie? He talking about that's so sad. He talking about that's so sad. Like his sympathy. Yeah, like my life is dependent on his sympathy. What a weirdo. Like I need his approval. Some weirdo over here with a fake picture and all of that didn't even speak up when it was time to speak up. Ain't standing on no king bed. Look, he went away all that time and came back. Bro, you ain't no conquering lion like that. Stop talking to me. I shouldn't have to block you. Go away. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this how I used to be on the buses and the trains in Chicago. Okay? What I look like? Did I look like I was cool? Do I look like okay? This what 19? This look like this about 1980. So what? I look like shit was sweet. I'm coming out of tailor-made suits and shooting dice and stuff, right? So I might take that off. So we're gonna get back because people come and want to know what we talking about. But we is talking about Juneteenth and all that. But things come up and I address them. I don't stay on subject. I address whatever happened in the chat. I love it too. And so now back to the thing with the Juneteenth. Trying to have Juneteenth in Africa. That sounds crazy. That people nowadays. I'm gonna keep it real. This young group coming up, they don't have no knowledge. They're not, and that's why y'all, it's good y'all watching me because they not standing on nothing and they not dealing with the knowledge no more. They just making stuff up. Because there's no way, if you really know about Juneteenth, there's no way you would have no Juneteenth in Africa. It doesn't make any sense, especially in Ghana that had 50 slave castles. They was the ones selling the slaves. So let's look at Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the United States, not in no Ghana, that commemorates the ending of slavery. Slavery didn't end in Ghana. Slavery started in Ghana. It marks the day on June 19th, 1865, when Union federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to ensure all enslaved people were freed over 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, no Africans came to free us. No Ghanaians built no boats that came. None of the rulers, kings, emperors, and nothing came over here and did nothing. Africa didn't do nothing. Africa never did nothing until we got free. Then we got free, then Africa started following us and imitating us. But while we were suffering, what did Africa do for us? What African came over here and did anything for our liberation? Keep it real. Exactly. Africans, and then why would you come from Ghana and celebrate Juneteenth when y'all was the slave sellers? Y'all had listen. Ghana had slave castles, right? Watch this. Watch this. Now, nobody talks about this. Watch this and tell me if I'm tripping. Let me tell you something nobody never say about Ghana. Watch this. Ghana had slave castles, right? Now let me show you one. Let me show you what nobody never talk about in terms of slavery. Let me show you the facts about Africa and slavery. You're not going to get this nowhere. Now, Ghana had 50 slave castles. Now these slave castles is right on the ocean, right? And these slave castles is on the ocean, and you pull up to the slave castles, and then you get the slaves. So that way you don't got to go inland, right? So the Portuguese and the Spanish, right, would come to Ghana and get the slaves out the slave castles. Now, Martin, who put the people in the slave castles? Did the Portuguese put the people in the slave castles? Did the Spanish put them in the slave castles? Or did black African Ghanaians put their people in those slave castles? Who put the people in the slave castles so that they was there for the whites to pick up? Let me see if you were honest, because I know this hurts. I know West Africans, you don't want to admit that you gathered up your people and you're the ones that had them waiting for the European to come get them, that you are really the slavers, that West Africans are the enslavers. That you are the ones that filled up the castles. And so my question is, should black Americans trust you again? That's my question. And this is nothing nobody talks about. They always talk about slavery, but they never talk about who filled up the castles. Because they put slavery on the white man. But how could you put slavery on the white man when the castles was full when he got there? So who caught the people and put them in the castles in Ghana? Who filled up the 50 slave castles in Ghana and kept them full? So Ghana is totally wrong place to celebrate the end of slavery, because Ghana is the beginning of slavery. Juneteenth in Ghana is a disgrace. Juneteenth in Ghana is a slap in the face historically. Makes no sense. Because how the ones that sold the slaves gonna celebrate the freedom of the slaves all the way across the water, especially when they punk ass didn't come and do nothing. Didn't no Ghanaians come and help us. Didn't no Africans help us. All that, we must come together. I ain't trying to hear that shit. I'm the same dog that bites you in the morning that bites you in the evening. And if you was willing to sell your people into slavery, you still can't be trusted today, according to me. I would never put my life in the hands of no West Africans. Never. Why would I go back somewhere where the enslaved, the one that ruined our lives, that sold us from our motherland? Those of us that believe that's them. Why would I honor them at all? Why? Why would I honor you? What would make a vacation there to see where you sold me from? What would make that a nice trip? What I want to go over there and see that for? I know you ain't nothing because you would have tore that stuff down if you had some respect, right? If that was wicked and that was evil, you would tear it down. You would say this is a sore to us. That this represents nothing but a disgrace to God. No, It's a tourist attraction. And guess how many white people go to see the tourist attraction? I'd like to know. How many whites you think go see the slave castles? What y'all think about that? What y'all think about Portuguese and Spanish people going to see the slave castles? They always talk about slavery. They blame it all on the white man. But it was black West Africans filled up them slave castles. Black people put their brothers and sisters in them castles. Black people in West Africa, especially Ghana. And so when you look at a slave castle, okay, so the year returned what? The year returned back to the slave castle? Because we didn't leave the beach of Ghana. We didn't leave the cities in Ghana. We didn't leave the towns of Ghana. We left the castles. So technically, the return of Ghana to Ghana is a return to the slave castle. Technically, the year of return is disrespectful. It signifies the return back into the slave castle. That's where you left from. Return. If you return it from where you left from. We left from slave castles. We didn't leave free. What I want to go back there for? To me, Ghana's the last place I want to go. Yeah, the year to return to the slave castles. To a country that's still mistreating its people, still sold its people out, and still selling all this cocoa and stuff to Europe, and still keeping their people poor. Ghana got all the cocoa, but Europe is known for chocolate, and it's African chocolate. Make it make sense. Look. I said, which country is most famous for selling chocolate, right? Look. Look. I'm going to show you what's wrong with black people. Look. Switzerland, Belgium, Germany, France, and Italy. Do they grow any cocoa in Switzerland? No. Any cocoa in Belgium? No. Any cocoa in Germany? No. France, Italy? No. But they're most famous for chocolate. What y'all think about that? 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 Ghana got all the cocoa trees. But the most famous for chocolate is Switzerland, Belgium, Germany, France, Italy. That's who's getting rich off of it. The Ghanaian people ain't getting nothing. The Ghanaian people is slaves. The Ghanaian people is slaves with the cocoa right now. They got slavery in Ghana right now. All the cocoa farmers are slaves. Cocoa is cotton, just like picking cotton. Facts. Let that sink in. All of Africa, same with the diamonds, same with all the natural resources. The African rulers are selling out Africa, selling out all African resources. And the only ones living good is the presidents and kings. And the African people are starving. The Congo got some of the most resources in the whole world. The Congo. And guess how people live in the Congo? Guess. Guess how people live in the Congo? Got all the natural resources. And this is the Congo. This is facts. This is the Congo today. Facts. Today. Not even including all the people that had to flee Uganda. We ain't going to get into Uganda. We ain't going to even get into how many people had to flee Uganda. So when you see these people talking about they went to Africa, they going to little spots set up for tourism. You understand? They ain't going to Africa. They going to the tourist spot. That's a fact. Don't let nobody come over and tell you, go to Africa. You ain't going to see nothing if you go to Africa. You ain't going to see nothing. If you go to Kenya, you're not going to go to that big ghetto in Kenya. Kenya got one of the biggest ghettos in the world. It's dangerous. They ain't going to show you that. For young people watching me, Africa go like this. When you fly to Africa, you fly on a commercial plane. Commercial planes don't let you see certain things. They take certain routes where you can't see nothing on the ground. Anybody fly a lot know what I'm talking about. Even in the United States, they don't let you see nothing on the ground. They got certain flight patterns where you can't see what's going on. So you take a commercial plane to Africa. Now, let's say some Europeans or Asians, they'll take a commercial plane to Africa. Then when they get to the airport, they'll take either a cargo plane or a small plane that will take them into the interior where you steal everything. Tourists, like that person over here told me, got to go to Africa to see. He don't know what he's talking about. You're not going to see nothing. Go watch any safari about hunters going to Africa. You're going to see them get on a small chartered plane to go to the stuff they don't want you to see. You can't see Africa on no commercial airline. A commercial airline is going to take you to the brainwashing spots. You understand? So if you go to a city in Ghana, you're not going to see the country of Ghana. So that little city you at, that's not Ghana. Y'all ever notice they never show you those countries? They never show you videos of traveling from one city to another. You know how dangerous it is in Africa? Do you know how dangerous it is to travel from one city to another? You know anything about the bandits that live out there in them forests? in Africa. You cannot leave that city. You've seen that documentary of them whites that tried to drive to Africa and they kidnapped them out there and had them for a couple years, unalived the lady's husband, and did all kind of stuff to that lady and her daughter till man, you can't you okay. Don't let nobody fly over no continent to no little sting and said Africa. No, you went to a tourist spot to paint a picture of Africa. You ain't been to no Africa. You ain't been in Ethiopia. You went to Addis Ababa. You went to Shashamani. You have not been to Ethiopia. Okay? If you come to Chicago, you can't say you've been to Illinois. I'm just telling you. Because Illinois ain't nothing like Chicago. And messing around in Illinois and go to one of them sundown towns, right? And you done. Facts. You go to Illinois, man, Africa is not what you think it is. Africa is one of the most dangerous places in the world. And so they have one airport for the suckers to go, and they have the other airport where they steal everything. And so a sucker gonna go and come back and say, oh man, Africa is beautiful in this, while cargo planes is leaving with all the diamonds, all the cobalt, all the uranium, all the gold, all the silver, all the natural resources. Cargo planes leave, and some sucker on a commercial plane goes somewhere and tell you how nice the place is. A tourist. Most of these Pan-Africans is tourists. They have not been to no Africa. They've been to the tourist spot. Facts. They got, if you go to Jamaica and you go in them hills, you might not never be seen again. My brethren, King OG, he went to Africa and he tried to go in them hills and they kidnapped him. They tied him up. And he was up in the hills in Jamaica with this group of what you would call Rastas, but they weren't Rastas, but they had dreadlocks and they worshiped the pig. They worshiped pigs. And they had King OG tied up for 2 or 3 weeks and was starving him. And some kind of way he got loose and he was wandering in the jungle and he fell out and a man found him. That's the only way he made it back to LA. Yeah, go to Jamaica and wander up in them hills. There's tribes back in them hills they don't tell you about. They captured my brethren. They captured OG. I'm trying to tell him. He said, I'm from Texas. I live in Ghana now. Oh my God, you're right. Leaving the city is death if you're a foreigner. They want money and still might unalive you no matter what. I'm trying to tell them the facts. I'm trying to tell them the facts. You're going to the little tourist trap. That's designed. Every city, everywhere, not just Africa, is only designed to take your money. Disneyland, all that. In the United States, wherever you go. Everywhere you go in the world is designed for one thing, to take your money. If you take a trip and come to Chicago, you're not coming here to be like Chicagoans. You coming, you coming to take your money. You're not gonna get no. You're not gonna get no Chicago experience. When I went to L.A., it take years to say you live in L.A. That first year, you don't really live in LA. You don't really know nothing about LA. You there, but you don't know shit. It's going to take you no less than 36 months before you know where you at. If you move to Africa, it's going to take you 36 months. Y'all better listen to me before you know where you at. You're not going to know Ghana. You're not going to know. You're not. It's going to take 36 months before you're really in Ghana or really in Addis Ababa. I'm telling you, it's going to take 36 months. If you move to Hawaii, it's going to take 36 months. So when people move somewhere, they've been there 2 or 3 months, they've been there a year, yeah, it's nice. They don't know what they're talking about. There's no way you can move and know nothing. It's going to take 36 months. Another city, another country, another state. It's going to take 36 months to know where you at. Hey, channel sample. I'm trying to tell them. Look what he said. Yeah, I've been here a year and there's so much in Ghana I wish I knew before coming. They took so much money from me, my first trip, because I didn't know the prices. And you still got 24 months to go. You only just finding out. It's anywhere you go, any country, any city, because you really never go to a country. And they don't know that either, do they, channel? You don't, when you go to Ghana, you're not going to Ghana. You're going to whatever city you're in. You're not going to Ghana. You cannot go to Ghana. You cannot go to Illinois. You can go to Chicago. You can go to LA. You cannot go to California. They don't know that. If you go to Hawaii, you ain't going to Hawaii. You going to Hilo. You going to Kona. You're going to Waikiki, Honolulu. That's where you went. You went to Honolulu. You did not go to Hawaii. Facts. Y'all better listen to me. But they say you went, No, you did not. You went to wherever you at, specifically, that's where you went. That's wherever specifically you live, that's where you really went. Technically, you did not go to Ghana. You went to what city you live in. That's where you went. Hey, I'm trying to tell them. I'm trying to tell them. And if you're an American, all you is money. You's a walking dollar bill. You're going to get no respect. No smile is real if you're an American. Not one of them. No smile is real, and they hate you. And all they want from you is what you can give them, and you don't have no friend. Go to Jamaica, and if you ain't spending no money, you ain't nothing. All that smiling and welcome to the hotel and welcome, that's fake. Living in acting where they want. And you know what else they don't know? You got to pay a whole year rent in some of them buildings. Yeah, my friend lived there, and she had to pay a whole she had to pay a whole year's rent. Africa is a place. When you say Africa is beautiful, I know you lying. Cause you ain't even seen Africa. You only seen where you live at. You ain't seen no Africa. Where you from? That's all you seen. Africa is a place that's not managed correctly and full of crime ridden, and full of hate. Africa is a tribalistic place. They don't like each other. They tribes. There's really no such place as Africa. They sell us Africa, so we thought Africa was real. And then when we got as young Pan Africans, then we got up and we learned, we found out, oh, there's no such place as Africa. That's a fallacy. Because them Arabs in Egypt ain't nothing like nobody in the Congo. See what I'm saying? So that's a concept where we used to look at the map, and you look at the map and you say Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's a false ideology. It's not a real place. It's not. The vast expanse of the African continent spans many different climatic regions and contains everything from dry desert to swamps to rainforest to glacier covered mountains. Its 54 countries are home to over 3,000 different tribes. They are not Africans, they are tribes. There's no such people as Africans. They are 3,000 different tribes and ethnic groups. And don't like each other necessarily, don't know each other. And the distance between Ghana and Ethiopia, you would not even know how far that really is. But you look at a map and you think Africa. Africa's got the youngest population in the world, and Africa's trying to get the hell out of Africa. Africa's been drowning in that water on their way to Europe for decades, trying to get the hell out of there. You know how many boats, you know how many drownings happen north of Africa trying to make it to Italy? You know how many refugees, you know how many people, you know how many Africans living on the street in Greece, in Italy, and up there that fled? Africa is trying to get the hell out of Africa. That's a fact. Imagine them selling you going somewhere where everybody trying to leave. They trying to get over here, and you trying to go over there. Nigeria's trying to get the hell out of Nigeria, unless they the rich oppressors. The rich ones is the oppressors, but a lot of them, like a lot of them kings and stuff, and them presidents, they finally don't live there. They finally live in Europe. It'd be like this. He the president of Ghana, right? He come outside, Ghana, this and that. Then he go in the castle. When he go in the castle, he take a helicopter to the airport, and he live up in Europe. they say African rulers, they go to the hospital in Europe, they buy houses in Europe, they buy cars in Europe, they live in Europe, and they only go to Africa to die. And he said, black is beautiful, and together we are strong. Well, go to Africa and get your Africans together. And then come holler at Foundation of Black Americans. Africans like you that try to sell us unity when you know Africans ain't unified is the phoniest niggas in the world. Martin, you one of the phoniest people in life. You are phony. You're phony. You're a phony baloney. Exhibit A. This is Big Pharaoh. Let me show y'all something. Let me show you something. Let me show you that dude is full of shit. Let's go to Ethiopia. He said we all one, right? Exhibit A. Watch this. This is the Ethiopian flag. Watch this. Ain't no African gonna tell you this. Big Pharaoh tell you. This is the Ethiopian flag. Now, everybody that lives in Ethiopia is an Ethiopian, right? But in Ethiopia, right? Check this out. Watch all the Africans shut the hell up. In Ethiopia, you got Tigrayans. They're under this flag. This flag is one of the flags under this flag. Right? So under this flag, you got this flag, the Tigrayans. Right? In Ethiopia. Right? You also got the aroma. None of them like each other. Now they under this flag, but under this flag is this flag and this flag. So when the Rastas, hold on, let me show the other. I'm going ahead of myself. Let me show you. Not only do you got those two flags, you also got the Amhara flag. So in Ethiopia, under this flag, you got this flag, and this flag. When the Rastas went to Ethiopia, they went to Shashamani. And Shashamani is the land of the aroma. Okay? Now the Rastas look up to Emperor Haile Selassie. So the Rastas went to Shashamani and they was in the aroma country. But Haile Selassie is Amhara. And aroma and Amhara hate each other. So the aroma was abusing the Rastas, beating the Rastas, unaliving the Rastas, sending the Rastas to the hospital because Shashamani is in this territory, but Emperor Haile Selassie was under this flag. He was Amhara. And aroma don't like Amhara. Okay? And the Tigrayan don't like the aroma or the Amhara. Okay? That's why the Rastas got chased out of Ethiopia. Because the Rastas thought they was in Ethiopia. but the Rastas was in Aroma territory. And the Aroma hate Haile Selassie. Now, the Aroma is Ethiopians, right? But the Aroma hate Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie Ethiopian, right? Okay. Okay. All right. So, okay. Okay. So somebody gonna come tell you they Africans. They ain't even know they not know Africans. No such thing as Africans. There's no such thing as Africans. Doesn't exist. No such thing. Doesn't exist. Any Ethiopian that tell you there's such thing as African people is a liar. Is a liar. There's no such people. Them people is divided tribes and they do not like each other. There's no such people as Africans. It does not exist. As a matter of fact, in Northern Africa, them is Arabs in Egypt. Them is Arabs. There's no such thing as Africans. Facts. And Africans are highly undereducated except the Nigerians. The rest of the Africans don't know much. The Nigerians is the most highly educated. Facts. These are facts. The Nigerians are the most educated in all of Africa. But when we was growing up, they just taught us Africa. So we didn't know no better. We didn't know no better. We that's what we thought. So when people just tell you Africa, 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 they telling you some false make believe stuff. That's not real. That's not real. That brother over here talking about we Africans and all that. They not. There's no such thing, man. They're not even the country. There's different. Like in Nigeria, there's a war between the Muslims and the Christians. They attacking the Christian farmers. Like it's a lot of tribalism. Like the main problem that people have with Africa is you don't know how big it is. That's why people don't understand. If you knew how big Africa was, then you would get it. Africa is beyond your comprehension. Wouldn't even believe how big Nigeria is. Y'all would not believe how many different tribes is in Nigeria. Y'all wouldn't believe the difference between northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria. It's not nothing the same at all. Because we was taught Africa, so we thought it was just Africa. Now we get in our say, oh, that's that we got the wrong concept. So for a lot of foundational Black Americans, you wonder why you don't have a really good relationship with Africans because a lot of them, they tribal. So you just another tribe. You're not black to them. They that's not a concept there. See, Black Americans, we in a place where it's black, it's white, and this. But in Africa, they all black. So they got another system. They got another language. They got another form of division. We don't understand that. We come up with the concept of black. They don't got that concept of. They do tribes. They got various dialects. They not black. So when the brother come over here and say we are black, he don't know what he's saying. He trying to push the concept. I understand that. But because people have asked me, well, what can we do? Well, if you don't understand how big the continent is, you're going to think you could put a Band-Aid on that. You understand? Because like you say Nigerians don't like each other, but technically they not Nigerians. They're only Nigerians based on being identified the country they came from. But in their real life, they not Nigerians. When you meet dude, he wherever he is, he not no Nigerian. I'll give you an example. I go somewhere, they're going to say I'm an American, right? They're going to say I'm a Black American, but technically, not really. Technically, I'm from Chicago. And if you come to Chicago and you see a brother, you'll be like, oh, he a Chicagoan. Kind of, but technically not. Dude GD. Dude BD. In this city of Chicago, y'all see me as a black man. Y'all see me as a Rasta, comedic. But technically in this city, when I'm really moving around outside, I'm a four-corner hustler in real life, in Chicago. I'm a folk here. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all see me with dreadlocks, different stuff. Y'all see me with my comedic name. But in real life, outside in real life, I'm either gonna be only thing you could be is a civilian or a gang member in Chicago. You're a civilian or you're a gang member in Chicago. And whatever you are when you get mad or you in something, that's what you really are in real life. So when you get mad and you Fulani or you this and that, that's what you really are. So in Chicago, when things go bad, I'm a four-corner hustler. That's what I am. I'm a gang member. I'm affiliated with hundreds of four-corner hustlers and vice lords. Facts. And you can tell what you are if you go to the county jail. If you get locked up anywhere in the world, that's when you'll find out what you are. You'll find out what you are if you get arrested. Sometimes you won't know what you are till you get arrested. Because America has got tribes too. We're not just Black Americans. Do GD, do BD, do Crip, do Blood. And he just ain't no blood. He might be Pyru. He ain't just no Crip. He might be rolling 60s. Seriously. Hey, you go to LA, them dudes not Los Angeles. They not Los Angeles. Dude rolling 60s. He not even a Crip. He rolling 60s. For real, all day, every day. That's what he really is. You understand? And so Africa been trying to work on trying to get a united language and stuff, but you gotta understand, Africa got the youngest population in the world. The average age is 15 in Africa. Did y'all know that? And how you gonna unite in a big ass goddamn? How you gonna unite in a big ass continent like that? How you gonna unite with somebody that you ain't gonna never see? He live way over there. How you gonna unite? Just let that sink in. Any honest African would tell you I'm telling the truth. How could you unite with somebody that live light years away from you? Yeah, y'all on the same continent. If your ass in northern Nigeria, how the hell you gonna unite with some Ghanaians in South Ghana? It's all make-believe bullshit. You ain't gonna necessarily even never see them in your life. Any real African that was honest would come and tell you what I'm telling them is the fact. Africans live in Africa their whole life and don't necessarily even be around the other tribe in their same country. So how they gonna unite with a nigga way over in Ethiopia and you in Nigeria? It sounds good. It sounds good, David. Can the Nigerians unite with the Somalians? Can that happen? David, can Nigerians unite with Somalians? Can that happen? Is that a realistic possibility? You even see what he said he represent. He said Igbo. He ain't speaking up for Africans. He showed you right there. He said the Igbo people is great. He ain't say the African people is great, did he? Did he? He didn't say the Eritreans was great. He didn't say the Oromos was great. He didn't say all the different tribes was great. He said that one tribe. You got to do is look, and you'll see everything. All you got to do is look. Now, how you going to unite with him? And he ain't even unite with everybody in Africa. They don't even have one currency, one way of talk, nothing. They all over the place in Africa. Africa is not no place where black Americans could do well. You ain't gonna do nothing over there. Maybe one or two. You know, there's always one brother gonna go do well and make you think you could all do it. You know, it's like a dude starts selling weed and he do good. And he make you think all y'all gonna sell weed and do good. But the reality is, you ain't gonna survive Africa. Africa ain't got the economy for foundational black Americans to strive. Africa is the fine chick that everybody having sex with. That's Africa. Africa is a place got all the natural resources, and all these mighty armies go there and take her shit. That's Africa. Living in Africa is like your bed, all under your bed is gold. It's a whole bunch of gold under your bed, and everybody knows it's gold under your bed. That's what living in Africa is like. Living in Africa is like under your whole bed is gold. And everybody won't go. Africa's like a big ass target. This the real Africa. Africa not really no countries in the eyes of the world. In the eyes of the world, this is the Africa they see. You understand? They was never dividing them up based on different. They was dividing them based up on cotton, oil, coffee, that, da, da, da. There's no, in the world, there's no such place as the Congo. There's cobalt. There's copper. Okay? There's no such place as Ethiopia. In the world, Ethiopia is called coffee. There's no South Africa. It's called gold. That's what South Africa is, gold. There's no Ghana. Ghana's called chocolate. Gold. In the world. In the world, this is Africa. And them people's in the way. They sitting on this. The people in the way. They got to scrape them out the way to get this stuff. That's Africa. You go to Africa, you sitting on the natural resources. You got to be removed. That's a fact. And all the African leadership is sellouts. Every last one of them is sellouts. You see Mugabe down there barking, but nothing never happened. Y'all ain't paying no attention to Mugabe. And this is Mr. Man and this. To look like the radical, but was the main one that sabotaged Winnie Mandela. Remember how he ran up under Winnie Mandela to further remove her power, to put himself there? Because you know he stole his power from Winnie. Because you know Winnie was the power, and Winnie stood up. And then when Nelson came out, they threw Winnie to the curb because she was more powerful than Nelson. And Mugabe and that dude down there is always talking with the red on. He ain't nothing but a snake. Remember, he was running around behind Winnie trying to make him his girlfriend. That's how he got in power. Who's the dude with the red on always talking fake revolutionary stuff in South Africa? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Man, dude is nothing but a snake. Hold on. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Hold on. Y'all know the dude with the red beret on always talking like he a real revolutionary. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What's dude's name? Malema, Julius Malema. Julius Malema is a agent for the communist government. That's why he always got that red on. That's why he always got that red on. You know, he's always talking and you know nothing ever materialized. You notice Julius Malema always talking. And what materializes? Nothing. He's a fake revolutionary. He the one ran behind Winnie Mandela to make sure. Listen, Nelson Mandela was in prison. When Nelson Mandela was in prison, Winnie started speaking up for him. This Nelson, this Winnie. Winnie started speaking up. Next thing you know, Winnie was getting too big. So now when Winnie started getting too big, they say if she keep getting bigger, she's going to be bigger than Nelson. All of a sudden, they let Nelson out. They only let Nelson Mandela out to stop Winnie. All of a sudden, when they let Nelson Mandela out, Winnie, Jules Malema ran up under her, tried to make him his girlfriend, and just ran her power away. And then Nelson got in there and didn't do nothing. And they just lulled South Africa to sleep. And still today, Africa ain't nothing. The blacks ain't got no water. The white farmers run everything. And the black South Africans don't run nothing. And every minute and a half, a black woman get raped in South Africa. Look it up. That's why Foundation of Black Americans should not get involved with Africa. You're not built like that. You don't have a military like that. And you don't know what's going on over there. And you just getting yourself in the middle of something. And all you think you move into Ghana. No, you move into whatever Ghana is named over here. You just went and sat your ass on top of natural resources. Because in the world, this is Africa. Africa don't got no name. This is Africa. And listen, they won't update this. You know why they won't? You ever notice they won't update this map and show you the new natural resources they're looking for? You notice that? This is all. What is the new natural resources that they found? Somebody told them, don't make another map like that. Somebody told them, don't make another map like that. Let me see. No, hold on. They got a rinky-dink one, but they don't got no real one. I ain't finna show you that. Look, they still got the old one. Look, they still got the old one. So I'm saying all that to say, you know, that whole, for foundational Black Americans, that whole Africa thing is a distraction because them people not going to do nothing for you. Africa's not going to do nothing for you. So why would you waste your energy focusing on Africa? Africans have never done nothing for us. Africa is a disgrace. You look at Africa, and there's billions of black people. And you look at the United States, and there's only 50 million of us. Why would the 50 million be looked at to try to help the billion? Show me any kind of way that makes some sense. It's 50 million Black Americans. It's 200 million Nigerians. There's millions of Ethiopians. Why would there be any expectation for the small little bit to help all them niggas over there? But no expectations for Africans to help a goddamn thing. You ain't never hear the world of black people demand Africans do nothing. They just get a total pass. They ain't got to do nothing. It's always save Africa, save Africa. And Africa's supposed to be the mother. Right? Well, what kind of mother is that don't take care of her goddamn kids? Africa's the worst mother you could have. She must be on drugs. Who wants a mother like Africa? She's worthless. And I speak for foundational Black America. Africa betrayed us. Didn't do nothing for us. When I see these brothers over here talking about blacks need to unite, and they ain't some African brother, and he ain't even united in Africa, you sound like a fool to me. Don't come over here telling foundational black Americans to unite. Go home to Africa and unite your own people in Africa. And stop singing a song to everybody that you don't even practice where you live at. That's phony. How I'm supposed to respect the African get over here talking about black people need to unite, and Africa ain't on nothing? How disgraceful and disrespectful is that? You know how disrespectful that is? Africans come here and they don't help us none. They be the enemy, okay? They come here and try to compete with us here, and we only 50 million and ain't doing shit at home. So imagine some African telling me we need to get together and all that, and they come over here with us with their nose in the air. Ain't practicing none of that stuff they typing over here. Because from a black American's point of view, Africans is haters. We don't want no haters telling us nothing about no unity. You're a bunch of haters. Why would I try to like you and you don't even like the other African in your own country? Is you crazy? Come over here talking black people need to unite. Man, go home with that. Go home and make it happen, and then call us when you make it happen. When y'all unite Africa, then call us. Go get yourself together, and then call us and say, we united now. Y'all want to join us? Because I don't want to hear nothing about no unity from no African. Selling us a pipe dream. Now, you want to have Juneteenth in Ghana. Stealing from us, our lovely brother. You want to have Juneteenth in Africa. Now, how can we trust somebody like that? Wasn't around, never helped us in slavery. We ain't see you until we made it. And you constantly trolling and grifting, especially Ghana. Ghana is the biggest grifters ever. Every time you look up, Ghana got another grift. Every time you look up. Every time you look up, Ghana got a new scam. Every time you look up. They got the year to return. Grifting. Try to make some money. They said, oh, that worked. Let's try it again. Then you're going to be beyond the year to return. Oh, that's work. We need to come with another one. And you have Black History Month. Come to Africa for learn some Black history from the Ghanaian. Come to Ghana, there's a Black history. Scamming. Now, you're going to have Juneteenth in Africa, in Ghana. Let's celebrate the end of slavery right here with all the slave castles. They talk about reparations too. They want they as soon we talk reparations. This I'm telling you, just look at the African people, especially the Ghanaians of West Africa. Just look how disrespectful they are. The Black Americans say reparations. We want reparations too. Anything, but don't do nothing for us. Don't send us a dollar. Don't got no programs coming on their own for us. Everything we do, they copy. So that's what's up with that. Y'all stay strong though and keep pushing the movement. We want our reparations. But all this stuff Africa doing too much. They doing too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really feeling Africa trying to pander to us right there. And the same thing go for there. Where's our money at? Like where? Because Africa owes reparations too. We're gonna get to that after we get the reparations over here. Africa. I don't understand this love for Africa when Africa ain't really do us right. And, they giving Africans a pass for their discretions against their own people, selling their own people. I don't understand that part. You know, I don't understand how Africans getting a pass for selling their people. I don't understand that. To me, I don't understand it. That don't mean go hate Africans though. You don't take this on a personal, individual. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna meet no brother from Nigeria and hate him. I'm talking in general. So I'm not talking about no personal hate or nothing. This is all cultural significance, how we culturally want reparations. This is not based on no hate. You know what I'm saying? Don't go around like hating brothers because they from Africa. That's not the point. The point is though to stand firm on reparations and stand firm on the history. Don't let nobody hide the history. That's the point. People can't hide the history. You know, Africa is culpable. Africa owes reparations for sure. For sure. Africa owes foundational black Americans reparations for sure. If you put people in slave castles, you owe reparations. So I respect this flag right here. I respect it. I respect this flag. I just won't wear it, but that don't mean I don't respect it. I just don't want to mess up my own protest. I got my own protest, and I protest red, white, and blue. But I respect the flag. I like the flag, though. You know what I'm saying? I respect the flag. A lot of times, like you have your own protest, and sometimes it intermingles with another protest. But I've been not wearing red, white, and blue before you came up with the concept of FBA. I ain't wore red, white, and blue, like I said, probably since the 70s. See what I'm saying? So my protest is older than yours. I been ain't messing with it. I been ain't doing 4th of July, none of that. Because I'm like, how you going to mistreat me and want me to celebrate America? That, come on. That's like celebrating slavery. I go to Washington. I tell them, I go and I have green on. I'll be like, I got on what I'm about. Where's my money? Greens for the money. You understand? I'm not, once something is known for representing something and what it represent mistreated me, I'm not representing it. And no matter what nobody say, you was a slave under red, white, and blue. Period. You've been locked up in prison under red, white, and blue. The police that beat you and all that had on red, white, and blue. You was abused under red, white, and blue. And that's a fact. And nobody don't want that smoke. That everything bad happened to us happened under the red, white, and blue, including slavery. That's a fact. So it's not a good color. It represents oppression. That's what it represents. Nobody want to have that conversation. They're gonna lose. Yeah, you're gonna get dogged. You're gonna lose. Because America's red, white, and blue right now, and you still ain't free, and you still ain't shit, and you ain't got your reparations. Under the red, white, and blue, they not paying you. You're not getting your reparations under red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Trump is red, white, and blue. Biden is red, white, and blue. The Congress, the Senate is red, white, and blue. The people that said they not gonna give you reparations is red, white, and blue. All the penitentiaries where brothers and sisters is locked up for crimes they didn't do is under red, white, and blue. All the illegal shootings and homicide that the police have perpetrated on black people and shot them for nothing. That was all done under red, white, and blue. That's a fact. That's a fact. All the brothers that's in prison now that's innocent, they under red, white, and blue. And red, white, and blue is not giving you your reparations. Period. Nobody want, you don't want to have that discussion. You went and fought wars under red, white, and blue, but never got what you was owed. Yeah, you was in a Revolutionary War, World War One, World War Two, Civil War, Vietnam, all of under red, white, and blue. Did you get what you were supposed to get for everything you did under red, white, and blue? Because if you did, what is reparations? Reparations is the battle to get what you didn't get under red, white, and blue. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, reparations is a battle to get what the red, white, and blue didn't give you. I don't know. He said we was so no, they wasn't using red, black, and green. You're wrong. You teaching false information. Red, black, and green is new. Red, black, and green wasn't in Africa. Where you get that from? Red, black, and green's not African, bro. No, you're wrong, bro. Y'all, he don't know what he talking about. There was no red, black, and green in Africa. Africa ain't got no red, black, and green. What is he talking? What are you talking about? Red, black, and green. That concept was created in America, created by Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey didn't. There was no Marcus Garvey in slavery, bro. What? No, that's not African color. That's Marcus Garvey's flag. What? No, that's not African colors, bro. That flag was made up in the United States, bro. You understand? I know you don't know, but that's what I'm here for. No, bro, that red, black, and green got nothing to do with Africa. The Africans adapted that flag, them colors from Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is way out. Marcus Garvey's the 40s, bro. Marcus Garvey don't go back to slavery, bro. Nobody sold no slaves under red, black, or green, bro. Like, you can't say the colors of modern flags and say slavery. He said slavery. Slavery's not modern. Hold on. He says we were sold from Africa brothers enslaved in Africa under red, black, and green. That's wrong. That's wrong. You think that's right, Vogel? You think that you think that's correct? All right, listen. That's my job though, so I can't get mad, right? The red, black, and green flag, often known as the Pan African flag, Black Liberation flag, or Universal Negro Improvement Association flag. See, it was used for different things. Was officially adopted August 13, 1920. It was created during the UNIA convention at Madison Square Garden in New York, designed by Marcus Garvey and other officials. So this slavery was in the 1600s, 1500s. This the 1900s, bro. We was we was not sold under that flag. We yeah. What that got to do with selling slaves, bro? What that got to do with slavery? Bro, don't move the goalposts, okay? Let's just deal with one thing at a time. Let's just deal with this. You said we were sold from African brothers and sisters in Africa under red, black, and green. That is incorrect. Let's just deal with that. Slavery was the 1500s. Red, black, and green was 1920, bro. 400 years later, 400 years later. Let's just, okay, don't try to squirt. Listen, what are we doing? You just making it up as you go. Okay. First off, the red, black, and green flag, when black people was buying it in the 80s, they didn't know this knowledge first, okay? All right. So you can't go back and judge people for doing stuff in previous times by what you find out later. You have to judge them by what they thought it was at that time. And at that time in the 80s, red, black, and green represented black liberation. Okay? You understand? So at that time, red, black, and green represented black liberation. Now, as far as you saying you can't get with that now, that's a ridiculous statement because I don't remember nobody recalling you to get with that. And I thought this was the flag I showed, and I don't see no green in it. I don't see no green in it. And this is the Black Heritage flag, and a black man invented this flag, and it has nothing to do with Africa. So some kind of way you went on some tangent and you misleading these people, talk about a red, black, and green flag, and you ain't getting none of that, and it was slavery and all that. You doing a lot of confusion. You throwing out confusion because ain't nobody even said nothing about the red, black, and green flag and being under it or none of that. I showed the heritage flag. So what made you get on the conniption fit about the red, black, and green flag when even when I read it to you, it clearly said that the red, black, and green flag represented a lot of shit. It often as the Pan-African flag, the Black Liberation flag, and the Universal Negro Appropriation flag. So they didn't even say that it only represented Pan-Africanism. So like before y'all go up on a tangent, y'all need to really listen because clearly it show you here the flag had three different meanings. The red, black, and green flag, often known as the Pan-African flag, often, or the Black Liberation flag, or the Universal Negro Improvement Association flag. So it represented three different things, bro. You just picking out Pan-African. And Marcus Garvey didn't just represent back to Africa. Marcus Garvey represented Negro improvement, opening business, building factories. Marcus Garvey did not only represent back to Africa. Also, you can't take a man back in the 20s that's talking about back to Africa and mix him in with what we know now as FBA. That's disingenuous. You mixing something from a brother that had a positive, the Back to Africa movement he had at that time, based on the lack of knowledge they had, was a good movement based on 1920. You're trying to take a concept a brother made up in 1920, and you're trying to take information that we dealing with now, and you're trying to mix that together. That's foul. That's foul. That's disingenuous. That's disingenuous. You can't mix Marcus Garvey with FBA, bro. FBA ain't even 10 years old. What is FBA? 3, 4 years old? FBA 3 years old. So you can't deal with FBA no further back than 3 years. I mean, I would just keep it real. FBA is a new concept that's 3 years old. You cannot apply that concept back to the 1920s. You can only apply that concept back within the last 3 years. You can't now go back and hate on history based on a new concept. You just take that new concept and you go from that point forward. You don't go backwards and say, no, I can't get with that. I'm FBA, bro. What? I can't get with nothing that happened in 1920 because I'm FBA. Like, bro, what? What do you mean can't get with that? Who's trying to make you get with something from 1920? And so when you see a brother now that's into going back to Africa and he got on red, black, and green, you can't associate him with Marcus Garvey. He's on his own new thing and he's using red, black, and green for whatever he's using it for now, which is not nothing that I would say I can't get with. That don't make sense either, because you don't got to get with it. There was no power in the gun. They sold them niggas guns and they gave them slaves for guns. So the gun was used to sell slaves. Yeah, the Portuguese gave the Africans guns and the Africans gave them slaves. And then the Africans used the gun to catch more slaves. So guns help slavery. Yeah, guns help slavery. Because the West Africans sold the Portuguese us for gunpowder, mirrors, guns. It was something else. But mirrors, gunpowder, guns. Yeah, they sold us for guns and gunpowder. Then they took those guns and went and caught most slaves for their master, for their Portuguese master. So guns had no benefit to no type of liberation. And when they came to America, they did the same thing in Native America. If the Comanche gonna fight the Apache, they sell the Comanche some guns that don't work and sell the Apaches guns that work. That way the Apaches beat the Comanches. Then they go and they fight the Comanches because the Comanches need some more guns. They don't sell them to them. They go and wipe them out. So guns was always used to manipulate you, because the man ain't gonna never sell you no gun you could beat him with. He gonna always sell you the inferior gun. So guns was negative. Guns were used to trade for slaves and gunpowder. Gunpowder was one of the main things that was traded for slavery. And Pan-Africanism is not the enemy. FBA is FBA. FBA is Foundational Black Americans, and we want reparations. We're not the opposite of Pan-Africanism. We're not, if you want to go to Africa, that has nothing to do with me. So I don't have to be against you wanting to go to Africa. Brothers is taking FBA and trying to make it a beef. Beefing with Africans does not equal reparations. FBA is Foundational Black Americans. Delineation is delineating to describe yourself exactly. Describing yourself exactly is so that you can get your reparations. It has nothing to do with being against Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is not the enemy. So if America said they're going to give me my reparations, and you say you don't want yours, you're going to go to Africa, why would that bother me? Why would that bother me, you going to Africa? That's not none of my business. We only want to talk about Africa in terms of slavery, what happened, and all that. But I'm not going to beef with no Pan-Africans. That don't make no sense. I don't see how beefing with Pan-African is going to get you reparations. But I can tell you this. I know this. I know the black man in America, he always a beef with some other black people, but he ain't going to stand up against white America and get his reparations. I tell you that. I could tell you one thing for sure. The black man is super cocky when it comes to beefing against another person of color. But the railroad and all these big companies that made all that money from slavery and all these big banks and Bank of America now, you niggas ain't saying nothing to them. You want to beef with Africans. You want to beef with Pan-Africans. You understand? Think about that. Do Pan-Africans got my money?
This is 13 corporations that profited from slavery. So here we go. Number 1, J.P. Morgan Chase. Between 1831 and 1865, 2 predecessor banks Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of approximately 1,250 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. Number 2, New York Life, an insurance company, sold insurance policies on enslaved Africans. Number 3, Wachovia. 2 historical predecessors owned enslaved Africans and accepted them as payment.
Hold on. How much pressure is being put on these companies? Hold on, because now I'm getting pissed. Do you see any pressure being applied to these companies? You see all this beefing and all this. Do you see any pressure being applied to corporate America? Put it in the chat. Because what we try to do is we try to get our money from the people that use that free labor first. We ain't trying to go all the way back to Africa and get that money first. Because if I go get a slave from you and you give me a slave, you're wrong. But if I take that slave and have that slave work for me for 400 years, I'm the one that owe the most money. I'm the one that got the 400 years of money from them. Reparations is about the money. It's about the free labor for all them years that built all this shit. And so right now, the message is getting lost in a sauce with a lot of other stuff. It's cool, but some of that tether stuff is taking the pressure off the oppressors, to me. Because you can see brothers, they ain't got their eye on the prize. They think it's about beefing. They think it's not about beefing with Africans. That was distinctly talking about Juneteenth and the ridiculous idea of having Juneteenth in Africa. That's that. That had nothing to do with reparations. Anyway, I was just saying it's ridiculous to have a goddamn Juneteenth in Africa. Juneteenth ain't got nothing to do with Africa. That's all I was saying. But that's got nothing to do with reparations. That's a separate issue. Don't start just throwing everything together, throwing everything against the wall to see what sticks. Because the reparation, the Juneteenth in Africa is some foundational Black Americans the one doing that. That ain't even the Africans doing that. That ain't the Africans came up with that idea. That's some Black Americans over there came up with that. Listen, that's some Black people over there trying to scam, trying to get us to come over there and make some money and try to have tours and shit like that. That ain't the Africans that come up with that. Let's get that part straight. The Africans did not come up with no Juneteenth in Africa. It's them expats that went over there and came up with that shit. And Pan-Africans came up with that shit. Not no Africans. Africans didn't come up with that. Ghanaians did not come up with that. Pan-Africans came up with that over there. Let's get that part straight. And they just want some company and they try to figure out how to make some money because they ain't getting no money over there. So they over there try to figure out how to get some money. So the Pan-Africans that went over there, they trying to figure out how to get some money. And they, misery like company. So they feel like if they can get more blacks to come over there, it won't be fucked up like it is. I mean, that's what's really going on. Y'all know what's going on. It ain't popping. And they feel like, well, we get some more of us over here to pop. No, it won't. And we not coming. See what I'm saying? So I'm glad that part so I can clarify that part because people might not know that. Might not know that I know that. That's a lot of the come to Africa was scam artists that's not from Africa. And so the brothers and sisters that went over there and got scammed, they went over there and it was an African American or a brother from England or something that sold them land that's not theirs. Telling them, yeah, brother, yeah, sister, I can help you do this, I can help you do that, I can help you do this, I can help you do that. And they trust the brother because he's from over here and they invest and they get ripped off. Yeah, that was their own brothers and sisters ripping them off. Go look it up. That wasn't Africans doing that. It's not Africans over there telling black people all this magical shit they can do in Africa. That's foundational black Americans or black people from America, black people from other places going to Africa scamming black people from other places. Let's get that part straight. And then in some cases, the Africans is helping them because they're paying them. So they'll go to the office and pay a sister, and she'll pretend that she gave me a deed to some property, but it's not. But the black brother that I went over there with, that be like, yeah, brother, I've been over here a long time. That's who gonna scam you. You gonna go over there, and then some brother gonna be like, oh, how long you been over here? Oh, you got to know how to do things over here, brother. But I can help you with it. That's the one gonna scam. It ain't gonna be no African. It's gonna be a black American gonna scam you. If you're a black American, it's gonna be a black American that's gonna set you up to scam you in Africa. That's a fact. But we ain't getting ready to start talking crazy and stupid about all kind of stupid shit and overlook the fact that who owe us the money. Because to me, that's like getting lost in the sauce. It's like these people is getting away. These people in this video.
This is 13 corporations that profited from slavery. So here we go. Number 1, J.P. Morgan Chase. Between 1831 and 1865, 2 predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of approximately 1,250 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. Number 2, New York Life, an insurance company, sold insurance policies on enslaved Africans. Number 3, Wachovia. 2 historical predecessors owned enslaved Africans and accepted them as payment. Number 4, N.M. Rothschild and Sons Bank in London. Nathan Mayer Rothschild, the banking family's 19th century patriarch, made personal gains by using enslaved Africans as collateral in dealings with a slave owner. I have a list of this, so if I stumble, it's because I have a lot of chicken scratch. Number 4, Norfolk Southern, offered slaveholders $180, that's $3,379 today. This article was written in 2013. So that's $3,379 today a piece for enslaved Africans they would rent to the railroad.
Okay, you get the point. So there's major businesses that made all the money. That's what reparations is. Reparations ain't against Africans that sold us. That would be later. That would be later, but that would be something that like Ghana and them would have to work that out on their own, because that happened so long ago. How would they know which ones is which? But we not beefing with other brothers and sisters. Okay? So let's take the Jamaicans. You got to understand that the original roster Jamaicans that came in the 70s was positive. They were Rastas. They considered us all Ethiopians. It wasn't Rastas that did not. It was reggae. And when reggae got big, people that wasn't Rastas started pretending they was Rastas to get into reggae. And then they started coming. So they looked like Rastas, but they was reggae people. So they was not acting like the other brethren. I want to make that clear. So nobody will be like Rastas, this and that. No, they was not Rastas. We called them impostafarians. The Rastas was cool. They was positive. They was really brethren. And they get a bad reputation because the new group came and they was reggaeites. That's the ones in the late, when you start getting to the later 80s, when you start getting to 85, 86, the early ones came 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. They was really black. They was not negative. They didn't call us Yankee. They wasn't doing that. They wasn't doing none of that. They wasn't saying no Yankee or no shit like that. They was correcting us. Facts. They would say, no, you're not an American. You're a black man born in America. I'm a black man born in Jamaica. I'm not no Jamaican. That's what they used to tell us. They used to say, you're not no American. You're not British. You're not Nigerian. You're a black man born in Nigeria. You're a black man born. That's what they used to teach. The ones that was the haters came later.
Now, if you want smoke, I'm here for all of it. But we not about to play the gaslighting game. Just like we said, FBA is not an organization, FBA is also not a movement. There is a movement, though. The movement is called the Delineation Movement. FBA is the lineage, delineation is the movement.